Welcome to Mental Health and Science with Enoch Francis. In today's video, I'm going to show you the don'ts of someone who is having epilepsy, or the things that they are not supposed to do as patients who are suffering from epilepsy. Okay, so let us dive into our lesson. So the first thing, if someone has epilepsy, is not supposed to go in disco lights, or where those flashes of lights are, or those TV lights. Why is this so? Because those lights, there's a way how they disorganize the brain. So as someone is watching that TV or is in a disco, those disco lights are turning like this, they trigger, or they may cause that person to get an attack or a seizure. Okay. Then in number two, the don'ts, or that someone is not supposed to do is we don't advise those patients to go to the lakes or the swamps. Why? Because when you are near the swamp or a lake, that water, when you see it moving like this, okay, the brain will try to understand how that water moves. So once the brain is trying to understand, then it can trigger someone to get an attack or to get a seizure. Okay, so if you have someone who has epilepsy, we don't recommend them to go to the swamps or to the lakes. That is where those guys can go. You find those people who have epilepsy, they have collapsed, they have fallen in water, and they have drowned. Okay. Then in our precaution number 3 is we don't advise, if you have epilepsy, if you have someone who is having epilepsy, to go near deep pit latrines. Why? Because as you go near a deep pit latrine, your brain is trying to understand how deep is that hole. And in that process, you find that you get dizziness. So we don't advise anyone who is having epilepsy to go where there are deep pits or deep latrines, because you can easily get an attack, you get dizziness, and you fall there, and that is how we have lost some of our clients. Then in number 4 is we don't advise someone who is having seizures which are not controlled to ride a motorcycle or to ride a bicycle. Why? Because a seizure can get you anytime, and you enter a trailer, you can enter a car, and if you are a driver who is carrying very many people, it is so dangerous, because you can go off the road. At that time, you have lost your senses, and we shall lead to many people losing their lives. So we don't advise you to ride a motorcycle. We don't advise you to ride a bicycle until when your seizures are controlled. Another thing that people who have epilepsy are not supposed to do, they are not supposed to cook near an open fire, because they can get an attack, or they can get a seizure, whereby you find them falling in fire, and that is where you find people have burnt their faces, someone has burnt their hands, because at that point no one is there to help. So we advise them to cook from a raised ground, like you see those charcoal stoves which are a bit raised up, so that when someone falls, may not fall on the sigiri, because these seizures, when they come, mostly attack, someone has to fall down. So we don't advise them to be near an open fire, to avoid them having those scars due to fire. Okay. Then another thing, the last one, I would say, we don't advise you to climb trees, because you may get an attack from the tree, and when you fall down, you will fall down, of course, and you get an attack, and when you fall down, you lose your life. So those are some of the don'ts of people who is having epilepsy. We don't recommend you to ride a bicycle. We don't recommend you to go near a lake, to go where there is a noisy places like the disco lights, because they disorganize your brain and you get an attack. So if you are new to this channel, I request you to subscribe, because it motivates me to make more videos, and let us end the stigma. Epilepsy is some sickness which is treatable, and when you're on your medication, you can do your normal work, you can produce normal children. So let us end the stigma, and as I finish, please subscribe to my channel, like, comment, and share with other people, so that they can get this information. See you in my next video.